and welcome to another episode of a LunarCrush Live. Today we are live with PAC Protocol. We got Drew, Jason, and David here. Super stoked to have the team on. Been chatting with these guys for a while. We'll be discussing yanDNA. Is it Yan? John, is that what John and yanDNA and other new developments in PAC Protocol? Just a reminder, everyone, we do not take payment for these live streams. We bring on fun, exciting, cool people that have dedicated their careers to the space and the industry. Make sure you guys get in there and ask some questions in the chat, and we'll do our best to get them to the team and get your questions answered. And then hit that subscribe button. We got some amazing live streams coming up here in Q4 that you guys are not going to want to miss. So, John, what's happening with PAC Protocol?
We got a lot happening with PAC Protocol, and I was just refreshing something on my screen here. I want to show some of the metrics from the last year. Let's start with social volume, and let's look at quite a big increase. So we're seeing on average a 743% increase in the social activity here. But I mean, at the lowest, I think we had one post on one day, and then we're talking about up to 1,558 really social mentions. And what we're saying here is it's really anytime someone mentions PAC Protocol, the ticker, the hashtag, the name, we pick all of that up. We're seeing just pretty massive increases. But what is even more exciting is probably the engagement side of things. So engagement looks at the depth of those posts. So it's one thing, we see a lot of posts, especially on Twitter, where, there's a lot of shilling that goes on, and there's like, one comment or zero comments back or zero likes back. It's just a lot of, bot activity and all that sort of stuff. And so when you see engagement, what it means is when the posts come in, when someone does a post that mentions PAC Protocol, it means that there's a lot of activity going on within those posts. So that means there's stuff to talk about. There's big things going on. We see that it's 2,500% higher than a year ago. And that it would be up to 15 million engagements on one day, which happened on September 15th. Pretty exciting. And then when we look at the number of contributors, which is really looking at, if you track website analytics, you might look at unique users. This is looking at unique social accounts posting on an individual basis each day. And so you see that those have gone up 690% on average, but those have gone as high as 794 in one day. So it's not just a few people posting posts. It's not just a few people engaging. It's increasing as we keep going forwards. And social dominance is another interesting thing to look at, where this is looking at the percent of the pie, like what piece of the pie does PAC Protocol have relative to the entire crypto market. And so there's a couple interesting pieces here. One is there's always new coins added. So it's actually harder to rank with an increased piece of that pie over time because the crypto market's expanding. But we see here that PAC Protocol has expanded throughout the last, especially 6 months or so here. We've seen it go as high as, 0.19% of all social activity on March 20th.
It's pretty good.
Pretty impressive. Yeah, it's pretty good, especially on a project that's below 100 million in market cap. So that's really good. Want to roll down just a little bit and show you this one thing.
Guess who?
So yes, I know. I'm shocked. I'm totally shocked. But when we look at all of this activity coming in, we also look at who is posting it. And this isn't our opinion. I mean, we love David, especially here, but we don't rank David number one. He does it himself. And so what that's looking at, it's looking at a few different metrics here. It's looking at the engagement within posts that those accounts post. It's looking at the number of posts that they do that relate to PacCoin, not their entire Twitter account. If you're posting about, family events and that sort of stuff, that doesn't count. It's looking at number of followers that these individuals have relative to each other, and also that relate to PAC Protocol. And so we look at this across the whole market, and we look at this at individual coins, and we look at this over time. Currently, we're looking at the last year. And so over the last year, we see that David's number one, we see RuleXRP number two, Braxton Miller, Corey G Fitness, and then we have PAC Protocol number 5. And so what's really interesting about that is that's exactly what you want. You don't only want your main account to be number one. Having your main account number one means that it's driving everything. You want the community to drive everything. And so the fact that there's 4 pretty big accounts ahead of PAC Protocol is a really good thing. We see Community Flare is there. We see Uphold.
Is it Uphold Wallet? Like that, they're ranking on here too. Wow.
Yeah. So I'm interested to hear about that one. What is it? Bully Crypto Podcast, Critical Complex, and Flare Finance. So pretty exciting, pretty cool stuff. And with that, let's hear from the team. Let's bring them in.
Cool. Boom, boom. What's up? How are you guys?
What's up, guys?
What's going on?
Looks like we lost Drew here for a second. I know he was in the car leaving some event that you guys were going on, but we'll get him back when he pops in. But David, Jason, thank you guys so much for being here. Good work, nice sweater, hoodie that you got there.
Wow,
great work with the social and everything else in the project. But yeah, so we always like to start. Where are you in the world, and what's it like there? And Jason, maybe we can start with you.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having us today. Really appreciate it. I'm from New Jersey. I'm right outside of New York City in a quiet little town out here, about 30 minutes from New York City, 25 minutes from the city. So, right in the hub of everything to be able to move and get everywhere I need to go for all the business integration that I take part in that PAC Protocol.
Very cool. David, the king of Twitter. All of Twitter, or just crypto Twitter?
I don't know.
Is there a regular Twitter anymore, or is it literally just crypto Twitter?
I think it's just crypto Twitter. I think we've taken over. And then you have like whatever Twitter. I think hashtag whatever Twitter. And that's for like, off topic stuff. But my name is David Gokhshtein, and I am the CEO of PAC Protocol. And I'm in New York City right now, where a lot of things are, it's weird to be out here because you need cards and stuff to get into places. And yeah, but other than that, we're having fun. Drew, obviously, I know he was trying to connect here, but he's for 3 days, he was out there in Texas for the Texas Sandfest, doing some good charity work for PAC Protocol with a lot of other big names. So pretty cool. We're doing a lot of things behind the scenes. We're working our tails off, and yeah, we're extremely excited for the future. Oh, there goes Drew, the chairman of the PAC Protocol.
There he is.
What's up, Drew? Welcome back. Do you want to do just a quick
Sorry
intro?
about that.
Where are you? What traffic jam are you in? And what's the time ETA where you're going?
Not in traffic anymore. I had to pull off to get for this, but I just came from Sandfest about an hour and a half from where I live. So I try to get here as soon as possible, but you got me in the truck for a little while.
Very cool. I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. John and I talk about that. Like there's all these live streams and we've been all stuck in our homes for a long time. I mean, we're coming up on like, a long time since all the pandemic and everything started. I mean, how do you guys see this market changing as people kind of filter back out to the world? Because it's like when everything happened, everyone came inside. It was like everyone's focused on, what happens when, governments are printing trillions of dollars. What happens, Bitcoin's down to 4,000 at that time, right? Like everyone's kind of in this interesting state where everyone becomes an investor. And now we're kind of getting back out to the world. How does that change kind of the landscape of the market right now, from your guys' eyes? And just feel free to like roundtable it.
I mean, shoot, from my perspective, just to go out of the cannon on it, I just feel like people are going to start getting used to trying to find real utility in the real world again, because we've been all stuck at home for so long that now when people are able to go interact with each and every one, utility is going to need to be a mainstream option in cryptocurrency and blockchain regardless. I mean, we all know this. We've all agreed with this for a long time. So, I mean, I think that's going to have an impact when people start realizing, okay, is there utility? What can I use it for? And see it grow in their everyday life.
Yeah, I've kind of used it to piggyback on Drew. I kind of use it as an opportunity. I think the team has to kind of seize the moment. There's been a lot of opportunity for us to get out and travel and get in front of people that maybe before the pandemic, we might not have had that same opportunity just because so many other larger projects have had a foot up on us. But building out our connections with Braxton Miller, Isaiah Reese, we've been able to expand into different fields. For us, I've seen it's felt like an opportunity for us to get out in front of people while others were kind of staying at home and not willing to travel and jump on planes yet. I was all in on the planes.
Yeah, I agree with both of the guys. Like, I don't want to be repetitive, but like Jay here, he was traveling all over the place, all over the country. I think he has a lot of frequent flyer miles there to go ahead and do what he was doing. And yeah, I agree with everything that Drew and Jay said.
So it's really interesting because I mean we've done multiple startups in the past, worked for companies in like more of a Web 2 world, and in this Web 3 world, it seems like you've got projects doing fundraisers that are doing all sorts of stuff, and they've got this roadmap that's all coming soon, and in 2025 they're going to launch their first product to 6 users, and like I guess like where do you see crypto adoption? Like where do you see in October 18th, 2021, where is the world in terms of crypto adoption to you?
Drew, you're muted.
Sorry.
It's all good. I didn't know if you were
ready.
singing a song on the radio or.
No, I'd give more attitude if I was. No, I think it's ready. It's just like you mentioned, releasing a product and only having 5 users. We've talked about this amongst PAC because one of our main goals is not only producing a pretty, product, but making sure that there's users there that want to use it. You could have the best product in the world, but if you're not doing a good job getting it in front of them, showing them why they need to at least try it out, there's different industries that you got to target, and it's important that you have an audience that's listening, before your products come out. And then vice versa, it's an education thing. We're in the blockchain sphere. A lot of the features and things that can be added to products that come out could be brand new in 5 years versus what we have now. So we're in a very innovative industry that things are constantly changing, and that's why we kind of got to always adopt to what's new, what's more advantageous for our chain. I mean, we've made changes to the PAC blockchain just because of different technologies that have come out, followed in the footsteps of different projects that have created different protocols, and we see it can benefit our network, so we adapt. And a lot of projects have to be more open-minded to that, I think.
Sure, agree with that. Listen, it's happening. I'm jumping in. It's happening. Like people are jumping in. Yesterday we had a Twitter Spaces that I held. I thought it was only going to be like 300 people. Everybody jumped in there, from Jason Williams, and everybody jumped in, and we were just all talking about we went from talking Bitcoin to just cryptocurrency in general, and you could just tell that new people are coming into the industry. And forget about just retail, it's institutions that are coming in, and they're ready now to jump into projects, I believe, with real utility. And I really do believe they're looking, and some have already jumped in, like Mark Cuban, for instance, have jumped into projects with real utility. So we're still early. Like, I know, like, that's repetitive, like we keep saying it's still early, but it really is still early. And look, we have NDAs, but everybody here has been traveling all around, especially I'll say Jay's been traveling all over the place to try to go ahead and kind of like get out of not just keep ourselves in crypto, but to get out of crypto and bring in industries to go ahead and use our product lines.
Yeah, without even knowing. Our thing is, like, we want to bring the general use public, the general public, into the crypto space without even knowing they're entering the crypto space. That's kind of leads us into yanDNA, whereas we want to be an everyday product. People don't have to understand blockchain, know what's blockchain, but we want to be able to start integrating blockchain products to the everyday user, with just, that are sleek, easy to use applications that people, again, don't even verify them as a blockchain, so to speak. They just verify it as a very good daily use product that they're happy to use. And that's kind of where we're aiming to target our audience, that general public. And we don't have to really talk blockchain, is what we always talk about in private. Like, we kind of want to just have a product everyone can use, and get the advantages of the blockchain without even knowing you're using it.
I love that. That was, I know David mentioned Mark Cuban, and that was such an awesome Twitter space over the weekend. I mean, he was taking it from the firing squad, and I thought he handled himself great.
That's why I held the space yesterday, John. Like to me personally, it was a disservice to. We have a guy who's outside of the space. He's been in the space. He's dabbled in the space, and he's getting into this space. And we had the opportunity to take it to the next level, to have a conversation that was just like agree to disagree like adults. And we missed out on that, because when you get Mark Cuban to, start cussing, that's not, that's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to take things to the next level, especially this space. We have enough people attacking us. We need, Mark Cuban wants to come in. I'll go drive to the airport and pick him up and start talking cryptocurrency with the man. But, yeah, like a lot of people are starting to come in. Like, Jay said something, and like I'm thinking about it. Like for us, yanDNA is not something that we're saying, oh, it's crypto. No, we want people to use yanDNA just like they would use Dropbox or Google Drive. Yeah, it was developed and is built on a blockchain and is decentralized, but like ultimately we want people to go ahead and use it just like they would use Dropbox or Google Drive.
Well, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, just real quick on that. It's like I like to hear you guys talking about, bringing the conversation to a new level, and it's it's still early because if you're explaining Instagram to someone, you don't have to explain how the internet works, right? But when you're explaining your new product, in the blockchain or cryptocurrency industry, you kind of have to explain like how it works, right? Because you want to lift that conversation, but you also, it's like, hey, we built the exact same thing as Dropbox, right? We'll just use that example. And so people are like, okay, it's the same price, it's the same everything. It's like, well, why is this different, right? So you still have to kind of ladder it down to that conversation, right? Where you're saying, hey, like we're going to do this thing, but you have autonomy over all of this stuff, and it's not sitting somewhere that someone else has access to it. You are the only one that has access, because the value prop there is still that piece, right?
Yeah. I mean, do you want Google to tell you that they can delete your files at any time, or do you want to have full control of your data? Like it really comes down to that. If you don't really care about your data, like fine, yanDNA is probably not for you. But if you really do care and you want to have full control, you're using yanDNA, period. Like there's no conversation, especially if you're from this space and like you're not going to give it a try. Like that says a lot about you personally. And that's, and I'll leave it there.
Is that some of the customer acquisition plan though, is like, I know you want to lift it out of crypto, but there still are enough people that have kind of bought off on what we're all doing here. And, your keys, your coins is where it starts, right? So everyone's kind of bought off on that. So it's like, do you start there and then kind of lift it up? Or are you just trying to say like, hey, we're just going to go hit we're going to hit everyone and they're not going to really feel this because the UX is so good?
Well, it's for retail and enterprise. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. So just piggybacking on that. Yeah, you're right. You want everybody to use it, but there's going to be the sell point. And the sell point for us is the decentralization along with the distribution. You mentioned not your keys, not your crypto, okay, not your hash, not your metadata, not your data, right? So each piece of data that we break down for our network, just getting a little technical, but not too technical, is you're taking that data set that comes in, you break it down into smaller data pieces, and you distribute it across the master node network, which is run on IPFS. Okay, so the actual software itself is run on IPFS. The storage is on the PAC Protocol master node network, and each piece of that data that gets distributed across the network has its own private key associated with the fraction of the data set that comprise the full data set. So if it breaks down to 1,000 pieces, those 1,000 pieces have 1,000 individual private keys along them. So our thing is very strong security is what we're kind of harping on. It's a security level that not many others have. Actually, really nobody has in the legacy market right now, which is what we want to target. And that's going to be the battle cry, that we're going to be able to take your data, we're going to be able to decentralize the storage of your data so there's no single point of failure. And we're going to be able to safeguard all of your precious memories, your videos, your passwords, all the things that you really value that you store. And we're going to give you a place to do it, and that's going to be our cry to the public is we have an immutability within the blockchain that gives us a leg up on the legacy system. And that's kind of where we're going to have to really harp and talk to the public and educate the public on that factor alone. Because if I could store my data somewhere that can't be hacked at a single point of failure, and I'm educated on that, or I can store it in a place that can be hacked, well, after watching everything going on now globally with the hacking going on and all these major companies that are being hacked, I would much rather have my data in a decentralized distributed storage system than a central server. But the education has to be there, like you pointed out before. So that's going to be kind of what we're educating our people on.
Awesome.
So you guys built yanDNA, and I guess what, great that it's decentralized and you have full control of your files. Is this for all types of files, or are there kind of certain use cases? Like would I store my NFTs on this? Would I store my videos on this? Would I store my images, my documents? What exactly is the use case around that?
Jay wants to jump
all of
through
the
the
above.
television. Go for it.
All the above. You store everything that you can on there, just like you would anything else. The great thing with NFTs is, and what we're going to be building out in the future, I can't really get too in depth on how our NFTs are going to work, but you'll be able to basically, when you go in and you store, when we come out of beta and into our actual live mainnet, you'll be able to go ahead and choose if you want to store said file as an NFT or just as a regular data file, right? So you'll have the ability to actually create your own NFT within our marketplace that, the brilliance of Drew and Jan, our developers who came up with these ideas. The marketplace will allow you to sell any of your content. So you guys could be putting up your videos on a weekly basis, monthly basis, whatever you do. You could go ahead and you can upload them to the marketplace on yanDNA as an NFT. You could sell it as a singular sale. You could sell it multiple, however you want. Sell the $1 per video or whatnot. This is the things that we're trying to bring, and we're trying to give you back your data. So when you store any of that data, you actually own your data. You own the hash and the metadata, which is so powerful, because when you store anywhere on any social media, Dropbox, you don't own that data. The data is now owned by the big business, by that corporation. They own your data. If they shut you down, you have no access to your data. So that's what we're doing. We're bringing the power back to the people as far as data is concerned. And then we're going to give a true marketplace and a place where you can go and monetize your data, and a social network, so to speak, where you could share your data, whether you want to do it in a free way or in a monetized way. So those are some of the things that we're building out through yanDNA.
Jason, you just gave me kind of like a holy shit moment with I'm just imagining all of the different videos and things that I have on like a Dropbox or a Google Drive or whatever it may be. And some of those are finished products of certain videos or, finished product of a piece of art or something. Just one click sell, holy shit. It's kind of crazy. Like if I could just go onto those platforms and literally just move, drag and drop over here for sale. That's kind of insane.
Yeah, it's really cool. And that's kind of like, not to jump into or off topic, but we're dealing with people that use large video files. They have to send them. It's very hard to send these massive files across the web without being compromised. So we're working with people on this exact same thing that you're speaking of, and uploading files and having the ability to send them anywhere globally. And if you think about Hollywood, the power of that.
I say Game of Thrones season finale just getting ripped off because it's coming across the ocean. Yeah.
You can't. I mean, typically the people that I've been speaking with, they're using physical servers that one man from point A to point B gets delivered, because they can't be compromised. There's been billions and billions of dollars of compromised films that have hit the black market, the dark web, before even hitting the movie theater. So it's a real problem, and that's one of the things we're looking at doing, is being able to store those massive files, not only store them, but send them instantly to our master node network with the scalability that it provides by breaking down the large files into smaller pieces that we can move instantly through the node network.
Would love to back up a little bit, because I know like yanDNA is a product of PAC Protocol. Maybe let's step back a little bit and talk about how PAC Protocol started, what it is, what users can do with it, where it's going. Introduce it to a wider audience.
Go, Jay. Jay's on fire, so I'm gonna let him keep going.
Wow.
I enjoy. Listen, honestly, like Jay's been here for so long. I could do it too, but Jay's been here for so long. You know, we started out in 2013, but I'm gonna let Jay run with the ball. Go run through the middle with it.
All right, no problem, man. You know I love the inside zone. Anyway, yeah, so we did start in 2013, but there's been a few different renditions. This is the newest rendition where we have a whole new team, developers, upper management, things of that nature. We put in many people from our community over the years that contribute now as teammates on the PAC team in our Discord and all our socials and everything else. So we are a proof of stake coin V3, POS V3. We are also a masternode coin. We moved from proof of work to proof of stake because there was some hashing wars going on. You know how hash goes when you're dealing with miners and things like that. You can be really manipulated, especially if you're a low market coin or a low hash coin. So we had a little bit of issues there. So we moved from that and we went to POS V3, which is excellent. And we were the first people to market with deterministic masternodes as well as POS V3, which is proof of stake. Okay, so we came to market with this whole new thing, whereas our masternode network went from being a randomized network to a deterministic network, whereas you knew exactly when you were going to get your payment, as well as the masternodes afford everybody in our community the opportunity to support the PAC Protocol network and then receive rewards for doing so. So that's something within our protocol that gives you a passive PAC opportunity where you're getting coins for running private nodes on virtual private servers. So that is like from the tech end, that's kind of like what we're doing. We're very big into charity. We've been in charity for a very long time, from doing charity down in Venezuela to Corle, where we were just down there. Rob and Mathis was down there for quite some time, and they were doing regenerative agroforestry, which was fantastic. And what he was doing was producing they were using land that was not being sustained by the landowner. They went in and they created a literally like a jungle that's self-sustaining, and it creates food. And then they give the food to these food kitchens for people who are hungry and don't have the money to go and buy food. They're in a tight situation down there with their government and everything that they have going on. So we were actually out there doing charity, giving away food and teaching people how to use the land properly and sustain the land. So we do charity as well. Like we're coming to the cities here soon. We're going to do some coding courses in schools where we're going to provide children with laptops. We're going to give mom and dad the opportunity to drop kids off early or leave them after school. Mom and dad will also have the opportunity to come in and learn some coding, because we want to build out where we can bring people in that have talent and give them an opportunity directly out of high school. So coding is a very tough thing, as we all know, and to get developers and coders is a really tough thing. So we're figuring, why not try to have a grassroots movement and provide some help to some of these inner cities. We're going to start in Ohio with Braxton Miller's school that he's putting together right now. We're going to have a free foundation there where you're going to be able to go in and, like I said, drop your kids off early or leave them late, and they'll be able to learn coding. They'll get a free laptop for it, iPad, and we're going to try to reach people that don't have the opportunities that could be afforded to some other people. So, that's kind of our vision. And then lastly, just going back to the tech side, I forgot to touch on this, but our masternode network, sometimes we forget to talk about these things from the PAC perspective, but we do transactions in less than 2 seconds on our network because of our masternodes. So we have long-lived masternode quorums, which then these quorums of masternodes validate transactions real time for instant or private transactions through mixing on our network. So I think that's an important fact that gets lost a lot of times, is that we do have a very fast, efficient network, and our block times are 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But the masternode layer affords us the opportunity to, with chain lock in that transaction immediately, and then it gets carried over as the longest chain when the block validates. So, you know, we're very proud of what we put together, and a lot of what we put together was from trial and error, or from just being in space for such a long time, finding better and more efficient ways to run our algorithm and our network.
So a lot there. You're doing charity internationally, building rainforests. We got Braxton Miller, Ohio State quarterback, teaching people and giving laptops out. We got 2-second transaction times. We've got rebuilding everything. I mean, what's the team look like over there?
Decentralized, you know, Braxton Miller's part of the team. We also have Isaiah Reese, we have David. You know, Braxton and Isaiah are both out in Columbus. They still have roots out there in Columbus, Ohio. They do a lot of charity out there still, with the kids out in Ohio State and the local surrounding area there. So yeah, we're everywhere. We have people overseas, which is pretty crazy. Our main developers,
Binance Charity, Manny Pacquiao Foundation,
Nice.
like you know,
worlds colliding there. Braxton Miller, Manny Pacquiao, David Gokhshtein.
Correct. And more to come. I might have to add.
Yeah.
You know, we're working with people on a daily basis where we're trying to bring in more people to help promote what our vision here is at PAC, and some of like the things that we plan to do with NFTs on our network. We're going to try to bring in some celebrities such as Braxton and some people that may be in his network that are interested in what we're doing as well. So, you know, we're trying to build out. We're trying to do a lot of different things and expand our presence in many different fields right now. And you know, sometimes it gets a little disjointed, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, we have a vision where we want to be, and we continue to push towards it. So the other thing too, if we're talking about things that we kind of accomplished or we form partnerships on, Flare Finance is a huge one for us, where we're a Y asset on Flare Finance, which for our community and for us is excellent, because our masternode owners, if they decide they want to opt in, they'll be able to receive Flare token or whatever token. I'm not sure if Spark or whatever they're going to begin with. You'll be able to earn that for running in PAC Masternode. So you'll get your PAC reward, you'll get your Flare reward, you'll get your Yan token reward. So I don't know of any other Masternode network that has multiple payouts for different coins, but that's kind of, stay tuned for more. I guess we could say about that. You know, I think there could be some more of that coming in the future.
Cool. And
David's the king of that, though. I would have to defer to him on that stuff.
Listen, you know, honestly, like we're building that's what we're doing. We're building. We're not rushing out with stuff. Like, we're building out network. We're the second largest masternode network on the blockchain. Like, we are building. We continue to build. Masternode numbers continue to go up. We have yanDNA. Honestly, even, I hate using the word honestly, if I wasn't the CEO of PAC Protocol, I'd use yanDNA when it was first available to go ahead and sign up for it, which was October 3rd or 4th, when we launched it. So
wow. If
you were to sign up and register for it, you would see how the amount of work that Yan and the rest of the developmental team put into this product. It wasn't a copy and paste. It was built from scratch, and you can see it. Upload, download. It's ridiculous, and not all the features are on there yet. So, like, for me, again, removing CEO, whatever, I would use this over anything like Dropbox, Google Drive, because I don't need a centralized component taking my data, selling it off, and then telling me, again, I can't get this article out of my head, but telling me they can delete any of my files at any time. So, you know, and that's just, we're not just stuck on, let's say, yanDNA. There'll be more products. I'm going to talk about them.
But yanSafe,
another underrated product that we have. So it's like, you know, right now we're building, and I'm hoping within the next 3 to 6 months, and I'm sure Jason will agree, people will recognize the work that we did put in into this project and people will say, okay, I get it. I understand yanDNA. I understand what these guys are doing. I understand the benefits of having such an extremely large network and the capabilities that we bring to other projects and protocols like our partners to go ahead and build them out as well. We're trying to play with everybody. We're not like Polygon was another partnership that we have. Like, again, like we're not trying to say, oh, we're going to beat him and take, no, we want to play with everybody. Like, we're trying to get together with people that want to work with each other. We could take you to the next level, help us with some things that'll take us to the next level. And that's it. Like, that's what we're really looking for.
I'm just trying to think oh, go ahead, John.
Well, I mean, like crypto, we think there's far too many people thinking we're competing, and they argue over what's right and what's wrong, and why are you using this chain, why not that chain? Like, there's so much of that. It's not the enemy. It's not the enemy. Yeah, you're right. Not even close.
It's like I'm better than you, or I'm higher on Coin market cap. Like, we really don't care. Like, focus on like people that see a bigger vision. There are protocols out there that I speak to people every single day, and they're like, yeah, I'd love to build with you guys. And we're like, same here. Let's build, not for marketing reasons. Let's come up with something that can actually help with our utilities that we're trying to put out there. So we could have gone the route of hype, but we didn't. We looked for partnerships that would be able to elevate us, and we can elevate them. That's exactly what we're looking for.
It's also a really interesting moment in time too with NFTs. I'm shocked. Sometimes I've seen way more than I would care to. A lot of NFTs are literally stored on AWS, the file itself. Yeah. And I am in shock. I can't.
Nobody knows how. But nobody understands IPFS. Like, nobody understands that you need IPFS for the longevity of your NFT. Nobody gets it. I didn't even get it until it was broken down to me. Like, you need this, and this was like months before I really got myself into NFTs. Like, it was broken down to me. I was like, okay, I get it. But most people don't get it.
You get the enterprise space. If the enterprise space starts dealing with utility-based NFTs, those need to be on IPFS. Those cannot be something that can be taken down in any manner if there's an actual business agreement with it. I mean, if you're, I don't know, if it's shares in an organization, if it's some sort of an agreement, if it's some sort of licensing deal, it can't be on Dropbox. It can't be on AWS. And so it's going to be an interesting time as NFTs kind of progress in the utility.
Well, there's something else to that.
Go ahead, Joe. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, all good. I mean, it's, I'm just thinking about like data security, right? And it's like, I think about something like Adobe or DocuSign, which, like, great companies, like, built something awesome. Like, they're definitely trying to go down the right path, but it's not even so much like those companies. I mean, there are thousands of people that work at those companies, and there are probably is a decent subset of those people that have access to some things that maybe they shouldn't, or they should because they have to work in those programs. And it's like, well, sometimes it's not about the larger organization. It's about like a couple of bad apples at that organization that get access to things that they shouldn't, right? And so it's like, if you just remove that completely, right, then this massive, what if there's a document that has an address on it of maybe some celebrity or someone that doesn't want anyone to know where they live because they're in the public eye, right? Someone could go and compromise an employee at any of these companies and then potentially get access to your document. And you just want to remove all of that and put the keys in the hands of like the 2 or 3 people that need access to these documents. And it's like, there's so many holes in there. I think I watched Mr. Robot. Was it Mr. Robot, that show? I've watched it enough to know that it was like, you just hack people. They weren't really hacking code. It was like, you're hacking people and social engineering. Okay. And it's like, look at what the Twitter hack and all of these other things. And then, like, to back it up to like competition, and people always talk about like, oh, who do you guys see as your competition? And what are you doing about that? And, it's, for me, it's always been like, so if there's someone that's building a product in an industry that's the same that I'm building, and they're focused on the same area that I'm focused on, they're probably like one of the philosophically, they're thinking like almost identical to how I am. Like, why wouldn't I like embrace that versus push it away? And it's like, if more people can think like that, then we can all kind of come together and build cool stuff. But yeah, no, it's crazy. But I'm trying to think of a couple different things, like a entry level, like what would I go store? Like that's simple. And it's like, for me, it's like we had family pictures like digitized, and it's like that could be on a Dropbox somewhere and we can lose that, or they could take that away. It's like, that's something that I like, or like if your house burns down, you lose the actual physical photos. Like for me, it's like pictures, like some just very important pictures or documents that you want. Like I'm going to throw those up there this afternoon.
Yeah.
If you
we
if
don't
you
get
signed
5
up
gigs
to it
free
right now, go for it, Jay.
No, I was gonna say yanDNA.io. It's a 5 gigabytes free storage right now. You can start uploading all your pictures and photos and everything. I would always keep everything backed up because it is beta still, so we're testing bugs and going through all different things on beta. But yeah, no, you're more than welcome to test it out and start, storing data, movies, files. You'll be amazed how fast the downloads and uploads and speeds. And then one of the great things too about it is like you get the full preview. So like you upload a movie, you could just send it anywhere and they don't have to actually download it. They could just start playing it from the beginning, come through with the same quality and resolution it would as when they uploaded it initially. So it's a really powerful tool. We're very proud of John for what he built. And the big thing about this is, like David said, we want to work with people, and that's very true because our network is meant to have people plug into it, meaning legacy systems plug into the PAC Protocol network, right? So, for instance, AWS, Dropbox, Google Drive, they don't have to be the enemy. We have a solution for them to plug into our network to have decentralized distributed storage without having to go build a 22,000 master network globally that's decentralized that is enabled to store said data. We can have anybody plug into us. We could go out to a regular everyday user that's building any type of app and say, why don't you plug into our server system? And we can provide you with the storage space that you need there. And also, if you're looking to tap into our servers, you can also do that as well. So we have many options for bringing people in, and we're working on white label solutions right now with a few different companies in the legacy system that can really utilize what we have. And that's kind of where we're looking to deploy our technology, is really to anybody that's looking to have fast, secure, and stable security of their data, or have the ability to plug into PAC as a server network. So we're kind of looking in multiple different facets right now where we want to go.
I'd like to ask about something that's near and dear to me, which is branding. And we're going through a rebrand ourselves right now, I should say. But we noticed on your site, it says new website coming soon. Look for an exciting rebranded experience. So tell us about that. What's coming, and what was that process of rebranding like?
Well, we want to have our products reflect, like the AI, the UI. That's, if you look at yanDNA right now, the UI, we want it to match up with, our website. It's just plain and simple. We want everything to match. Think Apple, right? With Apple, all their products match. Like the themes, they match. So, that's the direction. It's not a bad thing to go ahead and look at Apple, which is a $1 trillion company or whatever it is at this point, to take things from them and put it into, your protocol. And that's essentially what we're doing. We're taking it to the next level. We're going to make sure that it's a fun experience when you even enter onto our website, and we dumb it down and make it easy for people to understand what we are about. I think we make things way too complicated in this space. We start talking about JavaScript, Python, C++. People are just getting in. They have no clue what you're talking about. We want to go ahead and obviously, there was a website, I'm not going to call them out, but a really top dog in this game where I went onto their website for the first time to get to know about them. And I was like, I don't understand anything. I'm reading this, and this happens to be one of the top projects in the game. And I'm like, I don't understand a goddamn thing. So make it easy, make it simple, introduce our product line from YanSafe to yanDNA to whatever else is coming to our Masternode, to, let me not forget, PAC wallet, you know, like PAC app, excuse me. So like everything to be laid out nice, simply, and for people to have a great user experience. You know how it is. People don't stay on the site for more than like 5 seconds. We want people to stay on and educate themselves about what we have to offer.
I guess, how do you view that? Like, you know, from a user flow perspective, and it kind of all comes back to, eventually at some point they're out there tweeting about you, but that's probably not like second one. You know, it's like, how do you view this kind of progression of a user, like learning and then signing up and using and kind of becoming part of the community? How are you weaving that all into what you're doing?
Jay, you want this, or am I hogging the mic?
No, man, you know, when it comes to community, you know best, man. So I defer.
The community just wants everything simplified. Like if you look at Robinhood, right? Robinhood is like, you pick up the app, it's gamified, right? So like you pick up this app and you're like, okay, let me try it out. And like you're buying stocks and it literally has this game feel to it. Like, okay, I'll just take this on and I think, number one, it's not even, I think data shows that people don't stay on websites more than like 5 to 7 seconds, or at least you have 5 to 7 seconds to go ahead and earn a few additional minutes for them to go ahead and lurk on. So I think gamifying your site is definitely, it makes a better user experience, without a doubt. People want, and I talk to people all the time, obviously on Twitter, they want, and I said this before, but they want it simplified. They don't want you to tell them how it was built. They want to know how it works, and they want to try it. That's really it. It's really keeping it that simple. We try to, I think in crypto, you said this earlier. Was it you, Joe? You said we have to explain stuff, and when people come in, we have to explain our utility. You know what? I agree and I disagree from a standpoint, like, you know, do we explain how Instagram works? No, like people just take Instagram and they know, okay, I'm shooting a photo of myself and I'm gonna filter it up and I'm not gonna look like that person and I'm just gonna shoot it out to the world. I think the same holds for, like, let's say yanDNA. Like, hey, it is the same thing as Dropbox or Google Drive, but it's decentralized. And the benefit that you do have by using it is you have full control. We can't come in there and delete anything. Like, that's it. Like, if you lose your keys, like, that's on you. Like, we can't access it. There's nothing that we can do. Like, if somebody were to hack my Google account, like my Google, let's say if I had a Google account with Gmail, like they can somehow open it up for me again. That's done. We can't do anything for you. We can, you know, we could try to help you and, you know, figure out, you know, where you left off, but there's no way to enter it. So I think gamifying, simplifying things, again, for the users makes it so much easier.
Yeah, and I want to get away from the idea, like my explanation of like the Instagram versus like explaining the internet. And like that was my explanation for saying that we are still early because we have to do that, right? But that's what I was saying. I like that you guys are trying to simplify and get away from that, and then just have the underlying value prop being, hey, it's similar to these other things, but since we went down 20 years of Web 2 of giving away our data, we have to start with unwinding that and kind of creating some of the same products again, right? And you kind of have to create this baseline of the way that the internet works, but in a more decentralized way to start. And then all of the possibilities that come on top of that start to expose themselves.
I think we lose people when we start getting into, am I you're the, I'm the party delayed.
It's StreamYard delayed.
Okay.
I'm cutting out.
I was going to just
Again,
real quickly, Jay,
centralized
before you get on, I just wanted to say that, like, you know, unfortunately, like, I think everybody tries to one-up themselves by getting all technical, and we lose a potential client. Like, we completely try to, like, this was made with the C++ because we took C++ and we incorporated this way, and you have somebody like John staring at me right now, just like, I have no clue what you're talking about. Can I just have it and let me see how it works? Can you
make it work?
So that's, if you go on and you really, if you sign up to yanDNA like right now, you'd see like it's so simple. Like it's so super simple to use the interfaces. It's straightforward and exactly like you're not all over the place looking. You need a manual. No, it's straightforward, simple. Jason said, and drag and drop, and
it's Web 3.0 because we're using IPFS, right? And what does IPFS need to run? It needs nodes, right? And we have 22,000 master nodes decentralized globally that we can run the IPFS network and layer it over our network, which gives us more scalability because IPFS, interplanetary files, sharing, you're able to go to the closest IP, so to speak, and just pull the information from there instead of going to the main server. So you're file sharing already through IPFS, and then you take that, you layer it onto the PAC network, which gives you another layer of scalability because you take all those files that you're storing on IPFS for your product, and now you're taking that file and you're actually scaling it even further because you're taking it and breaking it down into smaller pieces, which are distributed across PAC master node network for storage now. So we really just kind of we're trying to build out that 3.0 using IPFS technology, using that technology and incorporating it and using our master nodes to run that technology, which really takes away the centralization of the internet as well, which is basically what everybody would like to see, and that's kind of what we're building out on, is that IPFS and the ability to layer it across our network and then store files on our network to give it that ultimate in scalability and quickness to move these files. See, that's the thing that a lot of people don't get is like when I'm dealing with people in Hollywood, producers that I've been talking to and pitching this product to, when they use it and they're sending it back and forth to each other and they're sending entire terabytes of file of information across from entire projects, from first cuts to when their final product, everything, and they send the whole thing across, and it's going across seamlessly and instantly. They can instantly go ahead and jump on it and start viewing the data that came across in the preview. And like I said, with that preview, you can watch the full clip. So we feel like we've really built something that's revolutionary in its design, and it is based off of Web 3.0, which again, we all see how necessary Web 3.0 is as our daily lives continue to be infringed upon with hacks and malicious phishing attacks and everything else that goes on. I mean, that can't stop any of phishing or anything like that because that's just people trying to get to you personally. But as far as data and being able to go in and hack a single server, we want to get away from that, and we also want to leverage Internet 3.0 to do so.
Such an interesting time we're in here because, like, I don't want to say that blockchain technology is matured yet, but it has evolved quite a lot. And at some point, it becomes at least sufficient enough, to accomplish the task that someone wants to do. And we are so entering a branding and UX game. And I think it's interesting because at some point, like yanDNA will be evaluated by a user perspective of how well does that right click work? Is there a shortcut to what I want to do? Can I go to your website and just drag a file and one click, drag a file in and see it in action? Can I do that before going through 9 clicks and 9 signups and all this stuff before I see that value, that moment of joy, that moment of like, wow, that is cool. Can you get that quick? And I think, when you look at crypto, it's started by all engineers, and you go to any conference, you're surrounded by a lot of technical types that ask you a bunch of technical questions that are building technical products that hardly anyone's using. And so I think it's just an interesting thing. I mean, I'd be curious, like from your side, how do you look at your brand and branding around it? Like, how are you evolving that, I guess, to go off after the masses?
I think we really are going to start targeting when we come out of this beta. We're going to really start targeting hard the general audience for data storage, whether it's through SEO, SEM, follow me type branding, advertising, commercials, for different TV networks, things of that nature. We really want to reach out. We plan on bringing in more brand ambassadors, then targeting brand ambassadors, power of influence, whether it's on social media or if it's running live commercials on Sundays for football games, because we have some people that are coming from the NFL. So we're looking to like kind of leverage all of our capabilities, from David having a marketing background, myself coming from a marketing background. I worked for AT&T Interactive. We did positioning, Google, Yahoo, Bing. We owned YellowPages.com. We had the whole distribution network, which included Yahoo, Yellow Pages, and Map. Of course, Yellow Pages, there's a slew of different Yellow Pages content providers. So I have a real deep understanding of the algorithms that they had used. This is a few years back, but the algorithms in use for pulling up and becoming more relevant, or organic search on the maps and things of that nature. So, we're going to really target all those things, get all the keywords, AdWords into the back end of our sites, really hit the video and audio ads that we need to pull up with the algorithms that they have instilled. And we really want to go out and target the masses. So our thing will be like keywords such as data or cloud storage and things like that, and really going after that and then imparting our message, like you stated earlier. What is our value proposition? Our value proposition: immutability on the blockchain, storing your data there, having multiple layers of protection to protect that data. You actually own your data. You have the metadata and hash associated with your data. It's your data. So that's going to kind of be what our selling point is: take back your data. That's one of our big marketing campaigns. Take back your data. It's your data. It belongs to you. Stop letting big companies in corporate America take your data and then use it for monetization to come. And then, like I said, with behavioral targeting, they start following you everywhere. You're looking up a new pair of soccer cleats. Next thing you know, every site you go to, you got a different website up for soccer cleats. And it doesn't matter where you go, they follow you. And that's what they do. They take your content and then they sell it to the highest bidder, so they can then promote to you and have a baseline to know what you're looking at. We're looking to take away all of that. We don't want people to have to worry about their data being compromised or used for the highest bidder. If anything, we're going to give you the power to monetize your data. And that's the key. You monetize your data. You own your data. It's yours. As a content creator, so many people have been shut out in this space. We're looking to give those people the opportunity to come back into a viable platform where you can monetize and own your data.
I think that's good. And just like to even build on that, Jason, it's like I'm okay with people trying to sell me the soccer cleats. If I'm looking for soccer cleats and there's a bunch of soccer cleats out there I've never heard of, it's like, sweet, shoot me those ads. But I just want to be able to turn that off when I want, right?
Correct.
Like I want to turn that off. I want to be in control of the ads that I see. I'm okay seeing ads. Like I think like some of the stuff on Instagram is outrageous. I'm buying stuff on there all the time. I'm like, holy shit, this is like, I didn't know that this pillow could cool itself. And like I'm buying that, but I just want to turn that off.
What are you looking at, man?
Just a hot sleeper. What can I say? But I want to be able to turn that off. Right. And when I buy it, and it's like, you're just keep getting hit. And then your data is being sold. Someone else is monetizing it. But you're not in control of that process when it happens. And so I think you guys are hitting on, like, for me, I feel like there's two main pieces of the industry that are very difficult to solve that have not been solved. One is file storage, and then file storage at scale, right? Web services at scale, and identity, right? And if those two things can be solved, and now we're finally getting to a place in the industry, like John was saying, where the technology is advancing to a place where it's like we're starting to hit that cusp, right? We're starting to get there. And once those two things are sorted out at scale, it's absolutely game over, because people are going to realize, oh, I have this new login, right? It's not a single sign-on with Google. It's not a single sign-on with Facebook. It's a decentralized sign-on that I can get rid of at any point in time, right? Just look at an app, go delete that one, delete that one, delete that one, right? Versus someone burying the subscription somewhere in the settings that you can only find on desktop on this one version. It's like, that's just a horrible practice that I feel like everyone in the industry would never do to their users. So I applaud you guys for that.
Appreciate that very much.
100%.
I really enjoyed. Go ahead.
I was just wanted to say the community, like, is super excited. I had, I'll say this, our PAC community, shout outs to the PAC community. I know they're all watching, and one of the most loyal groups around.
The best. Shout out.
If I get into that, then we'll be on here for 3 hours. But legit, one of the most loyal groups around. But with yanDNA, I wasn't so much looking for what the PAC community would say. I was really looking for somebody or for people who weren't in the PAC community. And when they downloaded, or when they registered, I should say, for yanDNA, their reactions were like, "Oh my God, like, this is what you guys built?" Like, I'm like, yeah. And like, they started looking, they started researching PAC Protocol, and they were just like, okay, these guys are really up to something. And I would get DMs like, this is some cool ass, and I'm gonna bleep myself out because I don't want you guys to be demonetized, but it was cool to get their, more so cool to get their feedback, because I know the PAC community is going to support us no matter what. But to hear an outsider come in and say, you know what, this is doper than one of your competitors, we won't name them, that was nice to hear. That means that the work that Yan, our head developer, who's fantastic, he really did a hell of a job, you know, putting all this together from scratch. I'm talking about scratch. I'm telling you again, no copy paste, didn't go somewhere else to find it. This is not, you can't find it on GitHub or anything. Like, this is ground zero and up. So good for him.
Is, our head developer. David, if I could just to mention this, just because we haven't touched on it. Yan is our head developer, and the amount of innovation that he's brought to the space is incredible, from yanDNA, which we've already touched on. David had brought up the PAC app earlier. He created PAC tags in there. So instead of copy paste your wallet address, you just click your buddy's name, and he already has an address associated with his account on the PAC app. So now I'm just going to my contacts, and I can send PAC to whoever I need to, just by using their contact information, instead of having a wallet address that I have to copy and paste. So just to make it a little bit more user friendly. And if you take a look at the PAC app on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, you'll see that it looks, besides the color, it looks just like the Cash App. You know, so we're trying to create things. He's creating products that look and feel like a daily use application, and then give you the ability to interact with it like a daily use product with contacts and things like that, instead of using things that are intimidating to non-crypto users, like wallet addresses. Because you remember your first time sending your first wallet, when you copy and paste, you put it in there, you're like, oh my God, where is this going? I have no idea what's going to happen when I hit this. Did I put the right address in? Am I doing this right? I have no idea, right? So we kind of thought about that. And then the other application that he built was the PAC Safe. And in there, he created the first, in the world, the first automated masternode deployment system in the PAC Safe. So as you upload, you bring your coins in, you sign up at a virtual private server. We use Ultra a lot, and there's Hexner. There's a bunch of different providers. You could use any one of them, but you create the virtual private server, and it's literally 5 clicks to run in a masternode. And if you've ever tried to run a masternode on a technical end with going to the debug log, the console, getting the VPS and everything to communicate, copy paste all the code in the back and everything, it's a nightmare. It's absolutely nightmare.
See what he just said? That's where people get lost right there. Like, all that complicated, they're out. Like, this is instant gratification. It's not delayed. It's instant. If I can't get it right now, I'm done. I'm not even trying. So, and if you look at our product, when you get a chance, you'll see within 5 minutes your masternode set up. Like, you don't even need anybody walking you through it. Like, it walks. It literally walks you through the process. You're like,
it's great.
Well, we haven't focused on benefit in this industry enough, right? We focused on feature, you know, and I think it's okay for you to, you know, put Apple, you know, or like Robinhood as kind of a shining star. It's like, you know, design oriented firms. I mean, Robinhood, like, they made options trading simple. like literally like anyone that just kind of understands like trading just a little bit can understand options on Robinhood. You know, something where it's like, you know, I got friends that failed those finance classes in college that are now like, you know, on trading desks, but Robinhood can make it so everyone can do it. And it's like, I think that's a good kind of North Star to focus on, is like, you know, how do you make something that's so complicated, you know, that only a developer can get in there and do it, to where now basically any part of the community can partake. And then what is the benefit of that, right? What is the benefit to you, the community member? And it's like, because it is, I mean, it is pretty flashy and it is interesting. Like it, the technology is interesting. And I think people kind of want to push some of that stuff out there and say like, wow, this is going to take us all to the next level. Everyone should understand this, but no one really wants to understand that. They want to understand, hey, how does this benefit my day-to-day? And how do I get back to the things that I want to do? Like go to soccer practice or go hang out with your friends or go to the beach. Or like, that's what people want to do. And we're just, trying to enable it.
This is where the crypto space needs to focus their energy rather than attacking Mark Cuban. Like,
correct.
Were they really attacking him in there? I thought,
dude, it was, it was fun. But I look at this and I go, I think of even our own data, and I think of like a couple years ago we were collecting like a couple 100,000 posts a day, and now we're collecting 1.5 to 2 million a day, and that's because of the benefit. That's because, hey, you did something to improve the quality of my life. Not what's the blockchain time, what's the confirmation time, how scalable is it? Like no one cares.
Nope.
Like in the end, it's that benefit that they get. And I just look at it like, we're in such a strange time where, especially a lot of the layer 1 chains are really competing big time. So I think it's definitely, it's the argument shouldn't be against each other. It should be against the rest of the world. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Bringing everybody in and educating. I agree.
Sorry, I have a saw going off in my house now, so I'm
right,
gonna be someone's building upstairs.
Like,
it's about bringing people together
because I don't know what's going on in there, man. Somebody's like cutting somebody up. I was like, okay, I guess.
I have one leg left.
Awesome, you
but
guys.
You're right.
I mean, go ahead, David.
Need to
yeah,
work
go
together
ahead.
And listen, your platform is great, and it's you know how much I love you guys, man. And at the end of the day, I think you guys have built something phenomenal. And there's honestly, I don't feel like there's anything else that competes with you guys, your platform. And also we feel the same about ours. We feel the same way about PAC. Everybody who works with PAC, like we feel that the stuff that we're going to bring out and the things that we've already brought out. Again, it's not to say we're better than somebody else, but we're really unique. Like, and I think that down the line, people will look at us and say, hey, maybe we should talk to them about how we can go ahead and build out our stuff and maybe use their tech or maybe their white label solutions to go ahead and incorporate it into our company. So yeah, we're excited, super excited, super
Awesome.
excited.
Yeah. Watch out for our white labels. We got a few coming out here real soon that I think everybody's going to be really excited about. At least we're going to announce the partnerships that we've got going. So I think people are going to get really excited about that. And they're everyday things. And I'm telling you, people are going to say, wow, that plugged into PAC Protocol? Yes, that's what we're going after. So
integrations.
More to come.
Cool.
That's correct.
That's the way to go. Well, should we send anywhere else outside of pacprotocol.com?
At PacCoin Official on Twitter, yanDNA.io to download your, not download, but to register to get your free 5 gigabytes free storage for yanDNA. I think everybody will really enjoy that. And I think that's really it, right, David?
That's it. I mean, again, thank you for having us and giving us an outlet for, maybe somebody to go ahead and type in, pacprotocol.com or go on to yanDNA.io and, give us an opportunity to present, the stuff that we've went ahead and created. So thank you very much. I definitely appreciate it. And no, I just want to leave on this thought. No, it is very, very hard to be number one on LunarCrush. There's nobody to pay off, and trust me, none of that happens. I'm very upset at some of the people that I see up there, number 1, 2, and 3 at times. But you know what? That's the game you play, man. That's the game you play.
But you know what? We did send you a hoodie, but it was after like way after you ever ranked on anything. So, but that was just us being kind. David paid us nothing for the hoodie. We did donate the hoodie to David. I just want to be transparent about that.
That's because I sold all my clothes because of the dip. trying to be like everybody else, get in. But yeah, but I do appreciate your platform, and everybody else should also. It makes it a lot easier to understand the market and to gauge the social vibe. So
well, we appreciate everything that you guys are doing, and yeah, no, we did an hour and 10, and we'll definitely have to do it again. You guys rock. Appreciate it, David, Jason, and then Drew, if you're out there listening on your car ride. Thanks, my man, for visiting. And John, as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you guys, everyone, for listening.
Thanks, guys.
LunarCrush Live signing off.